Hello, welcome to my channel. Right, had a bit of a problem with my haul video. As you've seen, two previous uploads. Recorded this video once before. Something went wrong with it. I don't know what's gone wrong with it. It's something in the code has screwed it up, and I went through it. Plays perfectly on my computer, but when you upload it onto YouTube, it just gets completely screwed up. It's all the audio's out of sync, the video starts freezing, it's all sorts of shit going on. I think there's a problem in the code at the beginning of the video. I don't know what it is anyway. So both those previous attempts have been deleted. So I've decided I'm going to start and film the whole video all over again. So this is basically take two, or my third attempt at trying to do this video. So hopefully this time it will go up and it will work on YouTube. So the previous video was like over 50 minutes long. It was kind of bloated and it took a long time to process and stuff like that. So I'm going to try and cut this one down and try and get this haul whipped through and try and expedite things a little bit. So let's get on with this. I'm really annoyed about what's happened with the previous video, but anyway, moving on. Let's start again, start from scratch, refilm the whole bloody thing. Right. Okay, hello, welcome to my channel. I'm TFR Wilderness. Well, it's not the last day of February now, it's now the 2nd of March, but let's just pretend this is the final day of February. It's my end of month bot haul, and I've got a bunch of stuff here that I've bought in February that I want to show you. Let's get on with it. Right, so first item that arrived on February the 2nd, I went uptown, Spa-Town Comics, went to see Lisa, and I got Lost Light number 13. Now, this is sort of getting back to Matumti of old, because you've got James Roberts and Alex Milne back together doing a comic. It's very good. It's basically the crew of the Lost Light are crammed onto this ship trying to get back to the Necrobot planet, and needless to say, something happens and yeah, chaos ensues. There is something that happens in this comic. A character is reported to be dead. I'm not going to say who it is because that would be spoilers, but needless to say, when news gets back to the crew of the Lost Light, it causes ruptures within the crew and creates a bit of a problem that they've got to deal with. But apart from that, it's almost a return to form for more than meets the eye. But it was an enjoyable comic, apart from the fact that that character died, which was a little bit more on that later. So, like, moving on. So on the 6th, a pre-order that I placed in December, and it's Mackie Toys BounceBack. Now, this guy, when he first came out, was an online retailer exclusive for TF Source in the States. And I can remember seeing it back then. This is going back about a good number of months now. I can remember seeing it, and I was thinking, oh yeah, I like the look of that. I'd like to get one of those. But unfortunately, I haven't got a TF Source account. Now, I don't want to get a TF Source account. The main reason being is that I've heard tell from a mate of mine, so to speak, that if you are a customer outside of the US and you have a problem with your delivery, their customer services don't mean squat. If you live out this side of the USA, they won't lift a finger to help you with their customer services. Now, I'm not having a dig at TF Source, but basically they had a bad moment with TF Source and they said they wouldn't deal with them again, and I've been very reluctant to take out an account with them myself. But I've got Big Bad Toy Store, and I've got Kapow and TFS in the UK, and also had Chumung or Robo Toy Bay, so I'm pretty well covered. But yeah, so I wanted to get this guy. I've got Toy World Coolsville, so I've got a third-party, masterpiece-esque jazz. Cool Toolsville, in my opinion, he looks amazing in bot and robot mode. He nails the G1 aesthetic in both modes. Unfortunately, the transformation is absolutely awful. It's one of the worst transformations I've ever had on any toy that I've owned. It's that bad. It's really awful. So I wanted to get this as a comparison to see what this mold like, but I didn't want to get another jazz. I wanted to get this mould but in a repaint. And when I saw they was doing this guy with, you know, G2 stepper colours, I thought, yeah, I mean, he looks amazing. I love the colours. Yeah, this is a decent mould. It's much easier to transform than Toy World Coolsville, mainly because it's got a solid crotch piece, because the Toy World Coolsville, the crotch is made out of a number of hinged and tabbed panels which basically fold inside and out as part of the transformation. And then, you know, you transform the front of the car and the back of the car, and you're left with the hips and this discombobulated hips, and you have to sort of scrunch it together as the final part of the transformation into vehicle mode, and it's not fun. Definitely not fun. But this guy's all right. Some of these panels on the legs don't want to, well, that panel there doesn't want to peg in properly. There's a few sticky bits on the transformation, especially on the legs, because you have these rotating sort of windscreen panels as the leg, you know, sort of, you know, collapses. It's all right. It's got that thing whereby you can get the doors, and you can have the door wings up or down, depending as you want. But I have noticed a little gripe with it. The chest is pegged in now, but if you turn the arm all the way up, it unpegs the chest, because there's like a hinge here for where the wheels fold inside the chest. As you rotate the arm round, it unclips the chest, and the chest comes unpegged. So that's a bit annoying. But apart from that, it's a great looking figure. You know, usual thing for a third party figure. You know, decently articulated, nice paint apps. Love the colours, even though Stepper as a character doesn't mean anything to me, but I just bought it for the colours mainly. So yeah, so I got G2, you know, BounceBack, or no, Mackie Toys BounceBack. Then the next thing to arrive on February the 8th, a third party pre-order that I placed in January. The final part of TFC Trinity Force TF03 World Hunter. Now, I've said this before. Those people who know me know that I've got a thing for you know, off-road buggies. In fact, I've got like a huge collection of RC cars up in the loft from no previous collection when I used to be a collector of RC cars. And I have this thing. If I see a Transformer come out that has an alt mode that looks like, you know, has got an off-road buggy alt mode that looks like a car from my RC car collection, then I have to have it. Now this guy, yeah, looks like a Tamiya Hornet. Or, because I've actually got two cars in my collection that look like this, or it looks like my Ishipla Monster. Now, if you look at the buggy mode, he's got small wheels on the front. Now he's got these narrow but slightly bigger wheels on the back. Now buggies, off-road buggies, tend to have like big balloon tyres on the back like that, so that doesn't look right. And he's got this massive great mess here. Now if you look at the Ishipla Monster, that's got this huge void here, and I think that kind of looks the most like that. So that's why I think it looks like that. But there are differences. Obviously, the position of the headlights on this one is different. But then if you compare that with the Hornet, the headlights are at the front of the car. It's got the Tamiya bumper. So you know, it's got the Tamiya bumper on it. And yeah. Now I'm surprised, you know, because of the similarities with this and this, I'm surprised Tamiya haven't gone after them and sued them for, you know, intellectual property theft. But, you know, it's a TFC is a Chinese company, and it's a bit difficult for like Western companies to try and sue a company in China, because the Chinese government is very protective of its own companies, and yeah, they'll block any moves to do such a thing. So that's part of the reason why they get away with it. But I don't know. But that's the main reason why I got this guy, because of that. Because he looks like a car from my... I just had to get it because of that. And obviously he forms part of the Trinity Force combiner. I haven't combine it. I've transformed it into robot mode, and the robot mode, you know, big and bulky and pretty cool. Transformation's not too difficult. It's a bit fiddly. I mean, like, you've got the feet are here, and the chest is there, and I think the arms are here, and the legs are here. But I haven't done it into the combine mode yet. But I'll get around to that at some point. But so I've got the other two guys. They're up in the loft somewhere. But I thought I'd get them just in case I wanted them, but this was the main guy I was after. This was the main reason why I bought this guy, was because he looks like that. So yeah, TFC Wild Hunter. Right, so same day, this is the 8th of January. I got this Fansproject TFX 07 Parallax Blue Armour, and it's their second City Commander, you know, add-on armour set for the Classics Ultra Magnus, and it comes with all these pieces, and it forms a robot and it forms a truck. Now, basically the whole point of this armour set is you put it onto a Classics Prime mould or Classics Ultra Magnus mould, and it all clips on, and it's fully transformable. Whereas the City Commander armour, which I've got in here, all the parts come off and they form the trailer and go behind the truck. Whereas this one, it's fully transformable with, you know, the armour attached. Apart from, there are some parts formery bits. I mean, these smokestacks become the missile launchers. And he's got two guns built into the roof spoiler here, so there's a bit of parts forming involved. It's very tricky, even though the transformation is basically the same as the Classics version, because it uses the same mould underneath. Because you're basically clipping on all these extra bulky armour parts onto the arms, getting them to fold round to form the truck cab is very awkward. It does tab together properly eventually, but it's really awkward to manoeuvre everything into place. It's quite heavy. It's nice and solid. I wanted to get it because I wanted to get all the third-party armor sets, and obviously this is the third one I've got. I've got, you know, Mepsuta, City Commander. I've now got, you know, Blue Armor, and I've also ordered Planet X Apollo, but I'm just waiting for that to come in. So yeah, there's that. Now, Vigadef got hold of the prototype Prime armor set at TF Nation, because Ben Collectibles had it a while ago to review it, and he bought it off him, and he had a go with it, and he said it was very sort of old school, the engineering on it, and I could see what he's going on about, messing around with this, because Fansproject, even though back a couple of years ago they were, pretty well respected and pretty high up there, sort of third-party company, they haven't really moved with the times in terms of their design aesthetic and engineering. They've sort of done the same old stuff over and over. And there was that period a while ago where the company sort of went dark and nothing happened for a while, and there was nothing coming out. And then just recently they've suddenly sort of sprung into life again, and they've finally released the armor sets, and the last member of their Lost Exo Realm Dinobot Pinchar has just come out. But I don't know what's happening with Fansproject. It seems to me like I'm hoping they're going to keep going and they're going to start bringing out some new products, but I can't see it myself. I think they've just come out to, clear shop, get rid of these last couple of bits, and then they're just going to like fade into obscurity, which is a shame, because they were a pretty good company, but they haven't really moved with the times. They're kind of set in their ways, and which is unfortunate, really, because I like Fansproject. I like the Fansproject aesthetic, and I like this, the stuff that they do. One thing I did buy this direct from Fansproject Direct. They have an online shop. I went on there and ordered this, paid about 45 quid with the shipping. They have like a blanket sort of $16 shipping charge to send anywhere in the world. And the only thing is, some of their older products are still at full price. So if you go on there expecting to find a bargain, you'll be a little bit disappointed. But the prices of their newer stuff is quite is very acceptable and reasonable, and I was very impressed. You know, I ordered it and it arrived within like 4 or 5 days. So yeah, I was pretty happy about that. So yeah, got him. Then on the same day, the spare parts for my G1 Ultra Magnus restoration arrived. Yeah, as I saw in that video I did in a previous earlier in February, where I've got this G1 Ultra Magnus, which is in pretty bad state. It's missing all its parts. You know, there's a bit of damage on the cab. It's like sun faded, you know, paint cracking and paint chipping and all that. Yeah, so I've decided to do a restoration on it, but it's kind of difficult because it's got so many parts. It's going to be a very costly restoration to buy in the parts and fix him up. I've resolved to, as a project this year, is to restore this G1 Ultra Magnus back to its former glory as best I can. And obviously I've started that process by buying the first couple of pieces. But because there's so many pieces you need to buy, it can be expensive buying them on eBay. So I've resolved to try and pick the pieces up as cheap as possible, preferably like £3 per part. And I'm hoping that, you know, some other, you know, Transformer collectors or YouTubers will, you know, chip in and help me out getting hold of the bits that I'm missing. So that's a little project that I've started this month, and hopefully once a month I will do an update to show you where you're done. But I haven't done anything to it since I last got it. I mean, the trailer's down here and the cab's back in here again. So yeah, so I got those bits. That was something else that I got on the 8th. Now moving on, the 9th, Carbot Pone, or Pone, or what you want to call him, he arrived. I did a review of him. Now when I did the review, I forgot to mention that he comes with an accessory, that he comes with this black boomerang, which a commenter in my review mentioned, and thanks for pointing it out. I totally forgot about it, and the reason I forgot about it is because it was folded up and it was stowed away in this little compartment on his back. So you put it in there, shut that, and there it is. That's it, stowed in vehicle mode, and it was in there and I forgot all about it when I was doing the review. So yeah, I've shown it now. So thanks for that commenter who did that comment on my video, for pointing that out. I totally forgot, and he's disappointing because obviously being a one-step changer, he's got lots of spring-loaded joints. Hasn't got any articulation on his legs. He's only got articulation on his arms. Nice colours, nice aesthetic, good-looking bot. Expensive for what it is, you know, basically a glorified one-step changer, but this guy, you know, come down in price a little bit. That's why I went for him. There are other guys in this sub-line that I want to get, especially Knight. I'm not bothered about Rook because he's hideously ugly, and apparently you can't get him now. He's sort of disappeared. Not that I'm bothered about it. But yeah, so I got him, and he arrived on the 9th. And the 9th, again, was Spartown Comics. So I went uptown and I got Transformers vs Visionaries issue 2 and Transformers The Lost Light 14. Now, in my previous haul video, I went on at length to explain something that happened in this comic. Now, in order to expedite this video, I'm not going to go into details about what happened in this particular comic. I'm just going to sort of brush over it. Anyway, basically the main crux of it is, we all know Mr. James Roberts likes killing off characters, and basically in the last 3 issues of Lost Light he's killed off no less than 13 characters, and in this comic he killed off 6 characters, and they just so happen to be my most favourite characters in, you know, the IDW comics. I'm talking about Nickel and the Scavengers. He basically slaughtered them. So that's a spoiler if you haven't read this comic. They all die, and the way they were killed off was completely... I mean, I was really looking forward to getting this comic because it's got Nickel and the Scavengers in, and like I said, they're my favourite characters. We've not seen them for a while. There was a bit in one of the previous comics where he did like this 4-page interlude where it sort of brought up to date exactly what they were doing, and then because of an incident that happened, Nickel and the Scavengers was thrown together, and then the story picks up here. Needless to say, Mr. James Roberts, for whatever reason, decided he wanted to kill these characters off, and I was enjoying this comic up until the last couple of panels and then last couple of pages, and then I saw what happened, and I was absolutely shocked, gutted, angry, and I'm not joking. You see the thickness of the comic. I was about that close to cancelling my subscription on The Lost Light because of what happened. I was very cross with James Roberts after what he did in this comic. The story's not over. Apparently, there's gonna be more to it in issue 15, which is coming next. It's gonna fill out a little bit more of what's happened, but I think this is the swan song of Scavengers and Nickel, and I'm really sad because they were some of my favourite characters. But Mr. James Roberts obviously had his reasons for doing this, but he's gone down in my estimation because of this. And like I said, I was that close to ditching The Lost Light. But in the IDW lately, there's so many characters getting killed off. It's criminal, really, the amount of characters they're killing off. Why? And some of them are like really famous characters, like Cup. Cup was killed in the first issue of this. Anyway, we're not going to go on about that anymore because it's kind of depressing. But yeah, so I got some comics on Friday the 9th. Now, moving on to Sunday the 11th. NEC Toy Fair. Now, I've decided this year I want to go to all 4 of the NEC Toy Fairs. I went to the NEC Toy Fair in December, as I do, because I always go to the December one. But this year, I've decided I want to go to all 4 of the NEC Toy Fairs. And the first one was on February the 11th. So I did my usual thing where I get my sort of £100 and went up there and got an early bird ticket and got in there early and was walking, doing a first sweep of the hall to see what was there. And now usually I like to do a sweep of the hall and then I will pick out a few targets, go around, pick some bits up, and then if my mate Richard's there, we will go and have a coffee in the thing, and then I'll sort of buy the last couple of bits to use up my money, and then I'll go. But this time my tactic got sort of thrown out of whack. I have noticed, I went to the NEC Toy Fair in December and there wasn't a fat lot of stuff there. The pickings were kind of lean, and it was the same this time round. Went right round the outside and then I was working my way up the middle, and as I got sort of halfway along, and then I got a text message from Richard to say him and his mate were having their coffee, would I come to join them. So I went and had a cup of tea, but I hadn't bought anything at that point. So yeah, I had a sit down drink with my mate Richard and chatted about a few things. Then I decided to try and pick up where I left off, and struggled to make my way through the rest of the hall. I did sort of see a couple of bits, and I had £100 burning a hole in my pocket, so eventually I decided, okay, there's a couple of things I need to go for. Now, first thing I saw was this. Takara hybrid style Convoy Black Virginal THS 02B. Yeah, I quite like Nemesis Prime. I much prefer him to proper Optimus, and this thing is pretty cool. I paid 30 quid for it, and yeah, he's very small, but he's very heavy. He's got a lot of die cast on. He's basically like a Legend scale MP10, if that's such a thing. Looks amazing. It's got loads and loads and loads of joints. It's got accessories, like it's got like a jetpack on. It's one of the accessories it comes with. It's got, quite a lot of joints. He's quite rickety because of the number of joints that he's got, but very, very cool figure. Unfortunately, bit compromised in the truck mode. When you transform it into the truck mode, it's kind of ugly. It's not very well proportioned. But the robot mode is absolutely amazing. And like I said, because of the amount of die cast on this, it's quite heavy for what it is. And obviously it comes with a butt ton of accessories. So yeah, it comes with all this. I mean, you get basically you get the trailer, you get roller, you get like, you know, well you can turn this into a stand, and you get a stand, and then you get loads of extra hands for posing, and the axe, and obviously he's got the gun. I've got him holding the gun. So yeah, and because it's the black version, it came with a few extra accessories, because you know they did a red version of this. So yeah, I got him, paid 30 quid for him, and he's a pretty cool little bot. Then I was going around and found this movie Clifjumper. It's just a repaint of the Bumblebee mold. Now I haven't got it out of its packaging because it's still sealed, because I've got the Bumblebee version of this mold, so I don't really need to get this one out. Now I saw this on the In Demand booth on the Saturday. They had a couple of these at TF Nation last year, and I was tempted to get it, but the price they were asking for it, I think it was it about like 35, 40 quid or something like that, and I was a bit reluctant to pay that price, and I hung around in the hope that they would reduce the price on it on the Sunday, but they didn't. So I didn't buy one then, but at the NEC Toy Fair I saw this one. It's got a price label for £9.99, so I asked the bloke how much is it, and he said 10 quid, so I paid 10 quid for it, and I was quite happy to pay that. Yeah, I mean, this guy is kind of rare. I mean, there's not been that many Clifjumpers, really. So unusual to get. Well, it's not unusual to get a Bumblebee repaint into Clifjumper, but you know, Clifjumper got an outing in Transformers Prime. There's a few different versions, but he didn't last very long in the show and killed in the first episode, and then came back as a zombie later on. But this thing, some people take this mould and they use it as a surrogate masterpiece Clifjumper for their masterpiece displays, because it kind of works as that. So yeah, so I thought I'd get it. It was only 10 quid, so quite happy to pick that up. And then, now, in the last week, Gary Churm, Hot Rodney Prime, has done a video where he showed a haul of stuff that he got, and he went to a thrift market, and he found some guy who had a table full of Transformers, and he bought some Transformers, and he picked up a Chromedome, a G1 Chromedome, in the virtually mint condition. He didn't say how much he paid for it, but knowing Mr. Gary Churm, he paid not very much for it, probably less than a £5. Anyway, at the NEC Toy Fair, I was going around and I saw a dealer who had Chromedome, G1 Chromedome, and I was kind of into getting one. And I went over and asked him, I says, how much is that Chromedome? He says, 50 quid, mate. I says, 50 quid, it's a bit much, isn't it? He says, well, yeah, it's got tight joints and it's all complete, and yeah, it's well worth that. And I thought, okay, never mind, walk away. And then I kept going round and I still had a bit of money left, so I thought, okay, I'm going to go back. Now I went back and I said to him, I says, well, I am sort of interested in that Chromedome, but because it's missing one of the guns, because it was missing one of the guns, I said, will you take 45 quid for it? And then he says, yeah, all right, I'll take 45 quid. So I bought G1 Chromedome. Now, wasn't until I got home and had a closer look at this that I realised this guy isn't quite as good as he looks. Now, yeah, he's only got one gun. Now, if I wanted to get a replacement gun, go on eBay, probably get a replacement gun for like 4 or 5 quid. That's why I asked for the discount. Yes, it's it has got tight joints, to be fair. And now, on first appearance, he's in pretty good condition. But when I had a closer look at it, it's got decal wear on it. But you know, you can get repro labels. I can fix the decals. It's got, you know, chrome wear on the wheels, but you know, I've got a chrome pen. I can fix the chrome, so that's not a problem. But then I noticed that Monzo has got a broken arm. See, busted. So that's not very good. To get a replacement Headmaster, you're talking, you know, you can pay up to like 20-30 quid to get a replacement Headmaster. So there is that. And then, you know, you look around it, and then like the rub symbol's knackered, it doesn't work, and he's covered in little dings and scratches. So it's been played with. You could fix it up, clean it up, put new decals on it, make it look better. I could probably fix the arm, or you know, I did it with one of my a Headmaster on one of my Skull Cruncher. I actually made a brand new arm for him because his arm was completely missing out of some plastic cards, so I can fix that. But anyway, yeah, so I got this guy, and 45 quid, yeah, I think I paid too much for this. But then again, you get this problem at the NEC Toy Fair. What you've got to remember is at the NEC Toy Fair, they are toy dealers, toy traders, right? They know what vintage toys are worth, and they buy stuff in, and then they put their little mark upon it, and they flog it out. And you do tend to pay kind of, you know, I wouldn't say excessive prices for G1 figures at the NEC Toy Fair, but they're more than what you could probably get them for at TF Nation, or maybe buying them online. And it's a case of, it's there, I had the money, so I went for it. But in hindsight, I probably could have done better. But I've got him now. I am halfway tempted to collect, do character mold set collecting for Chromedome. I've got quite a few Chromedomes. I haven't got Mackie Toys Cupola, but I've got most of the others, and now I've got a G1. So yeah, I could probably stretch to collecting him as a character. But yeah, so I picked him up and paid 45 quid for him, even though I was a bit reluctant to pay that. So that was that. And then moving along to the 19th. Now, there's a Fans Toys figure that I've been looking at getting. It's one of their bigger figures. It's a limited edition repaint, and I'd seen this figure on eBay previously. I mean, the retail price of it at, when it first came out was about 160, 170 quid. Anyway, I've seen people on eBay asking easily 190, 200, 220, 230 quid for this thing, and I was reluctant to pay that amount of money. And because it's limited edition, they've made them, they're out there. There's very few unsold items knocking around. It's getting hard to get, and it's a limited edition figure, blah, blah, blah. I didn't think I was going to get one. But earlier in the month, I was just happened to be on my phone doing an eBay search, and I was looking for G2 Grimlock. And as I scrolled down, this thing came along. Yes. Iron Dibots FT08G G2 Grinder. I found a seller in China who'd got one for sale. It was the last one left. It had like 17 hours left to go. But when I looked at the price, and then I went onto TFS Express and saw that they actually had this guy in stock and the prices they were asking for it, I saw that buying this was a bit of a bargain. So I got this guy. And there he is. And I also got him with the G1 head upgrade. So he came with this. I mean, this is like $14.99, 15 quid on its own. And if I'd have bought this from TFS Express, if I'd have bought these guys from TFS Express, $169.99, $14.99 plus their £5.50 blanket postage charge. You're talking 190 quid. But I managed to get this guy for just under £155 shipped, which I thought was amazing, absolutely incredible price. So I was really pleased to get hold of him. The only problem is, because I now work into this £400 a month budget, Buying big expensive figures like this is a bit of a problem, because after I bought this, it was like, no, most of my money was used up and I couldn't really afford to buy anything else, and I bought it sort of like halfway through the month. So yeah, there was that. And I don't know, I mean, I can afford to buy one sort of expensive figure. And when I say expensive, I mean a figure that costs over £100 a month. But it's I've got to be careful now when I'm buying stuff. If I want to get a measured haul of stuff each month, I've got to sort of plan stuff out, and it's kind of difficult. I can't buy stuff as readily as I used to. I'm finding it slightly restrictive working to this new budget. But anyway, he's really heavy. He's very clicky. Brilliant, and he's only the second Fans Toys figure that I've bought, because I've got FT18 Lupus. I've got him. I wasn't very impressed with him. He had a few QC issues, but this guy, he's super solid, very cool, very heavy, and like I said, he came with the head upgrade, and I think I did quite well getting hold of this guy at the price that I did. So yeah, he's one of the best things I got this month. Very, very pleased and happy to get hold of him. And then the final bit, another pre-order from December that rolled in on the last day of the month. Takara Legends Windblade. Now I've got the two other variants of this mould. I've got the RID one and I've got the Titans Return one, but I didn't have a version of the Generations mould. Now I didn't really like the Generations Windblade because it had too much black on it. So when I saw they were doing the Takara one, it looks a little bit more. It's got a lot more red, especially on the plain mode. It looks a lot better. So I wanted to go for this, but I missed the first run of this. I didn't get one, and it came out, it came and went, and then those people that had it wanted to sell it. They were asking, like 50, 60 quid for it, and I wasn't prepared to pay that for it. And then they said they was going to reissue this figure, so I pre-ordered it from TFS Express, and it arrived on the last day of the month. So got her. Haven't actually got her out and played with her yet because, well, when I recorded the original video, it had only arrived that day, and I hadn't had time before doing the preparations for the video to make a go of it. Anyway, so yeah, there was that. So that is my haul. Now hopefully this time this video will play and won't screw up like the last one. I'm hoping so. I've managed to get it down to like 38 minutes instead of 50 minutes, so that's good. Yeah, so nothing more to say. Let's do the first and worst. So first worst, yeah. My favourite thing I got this month, Grinder, obviously, and then obviously this guy. He looks great, but very disappointing. So yeah, he's not really that good. But anyway, I got him, and that's been my haul. Hopefully you've managed to watch it through this time without any problems. I will, obviously hopefully this is just an isolated incident with that particular video file when I recorded. That's why I've re-recorded this whole haul again. So yeah, I've been TFR Wilderness. Hopefully you've enjoyed this haul video, and I will catch you next time. Ta-da.
If you wish to leave a record of your call, please state your message at the sound of the